Okay, how you doing, y'all? This is Cosmic Charlie with some little bit of stuff I got here about dreams, timelessness, and parallel worlds, and of course, once again, the credit for all this rest of all, at least for being the head of the research involved in coming up with these few words to say is and given to Zen Gardner once again from Zen Gardner website. This is this is sort of like at least an interim result of research done into the matter, and this is as of April 23rd, approximately week and a half ago. So let me start by saying that many of us, I have had dreams in my life, including recurring ones, that were clearly significant. I can't say I'm an adept interpreter, but many of us try to consciously get whatever message we think there may be for us from dreams. Let's face it, virtually 1/3 of our lives are spent in the sleeping state, yet we know our full consciousness never shuts off. This dream world is a significant one to know about that could teach us many things. That observer inside each of us is getting it all, and we need to pay attention to it. Excuse me, I'm going to hear some ants flying, walking all over me here. What's this food, probably? You know, that observation inside each of us is getting it all. And as I said, we need to pay attention and learn. Several times I have had a strong sense that it's a parallel existence I was experiencing, where perhaps my life had split off and continued on in some different direction. Perhaps due to some fundamental decision that I made somewhere along the lifetime leading to one I'm now living in this currently shared 3D existence. And that can happen every minute of our lives. Quite the mind-blowing thought. The world in those altered dream state places, of course, is similar to other dreams, but not like anything I've ever seen here. They have commonalities regarding my central sense of self, but they're distinctly different from those dreams that seem a jumble of influences playing in an almost random form. I'm not talking about lucid dreams directly yet, but these have another element that you can sense very deeply and always have a rewarding message if we ponder on them. There are recurring themes in this matter. Twice, including just a few days ago, I distinctly remember waking up to a dream that was not just very vivid, but different. Some of the characters in those dreams were seeming transplants from my current past life, here and there, and some I didn't know. But the context of the dream made complete sense. I've thought of most dreams as being an opportunity for my consciousness to process previous events in my life that still needed sorting out and reconciling, that sounds better, reconciling in some way, or to convey a message to my existence my conscience, or subconscious for some reason, as they are often quite revelatory. I really don't know, but they're certainly worth noting and reviewing. Like keeping a notepad and pen or some such by your bed. When dreams wake you up, this is especially important. I realize that there are these recurring themes in my dreams that seem to revolve around major decisive timeline points, and that may be an indicator of a major split-off that happened that was particularly profound. When these recurring themes appear, perhaps it's not us still wrestling with a particular difficulty or traumatic decision or time or event, but maybe they're snapshots or short glimpses into where that life went had it, or in fact that at some level kept on going in that direction. I don't mean to be enigmatic here, but the more I thought about this, the more clear it became that these recurring themes seem to revolve around these points in my lifetime where major decisions and changes took place. Now, naturally, these are significant changes on their own, but let's examine it in the light of parallel worlds and life timelines occurring concurrently with this one. Let me use one example from my life. Not the subject of this recent dream type I'm describing above, but a good one nonetheless. Yes, that's where it comes from. Just like the judge's gavel, our handshake, and a whole bunch of other programmed crap. Oh no, I didn't get my free Masonic Mortar board hat. I left university after 4 years and pretty much just wandered into my mystical hippie type searching years. I had a backpack of books and hit the road for California to find the truth and meet like-minded people I thought would be there. I didn't graduate and thought nothing of it. I changed majors every semester and just wandered out after the 4th year of free food and rent thanks to my father, who had hoped I would follow in his footsteps. I was totally restless and uncertain, not of just what I wanted to do, but who the heck I was and what was I here on earth for. The light stuff. The light stuff, all right, I'll tell you. But as a result, I didn't qualify for the philosophy degree I was apparently shooting for, having changed majors every semester. My authoritarian corporatist father, with his highfalutin doctorate degree, was pissed, and thereupon smothered me in silence, as was his way. I can understand from this paradigm. He paid for my schooling, and I rejected the whole bowl of wax. He remarried silent. He remained silent. Remarried. I wish he had. Well, I don't know. I wish that. Anyway, he remained silent about this until his death. But I suffered guilt about this, apparently because I had recurring dreams for years about this missing degree I supposedly should have gotten. Thankfully, this sorted out after my latest, much more full conscious awakening, and we're friends now, having visited together in dreams for some time. And yes, that blew my mind. Was I sorting out buried guilt? Clearly, at the least, father and mother, issues are a biggie for many people. They certainly were for me. Is that what it's sorting out here? Am I replaying all fears, repeatedly simply due to old programming and experiences? Or are some of these dreams parallel lives where I lived on in that academic environment, having been a good boy and finished up? Or could they be a mixture? Does our dream life evolve with our coming into greater conscious awareness? I think that's part of it, but I really don't know. I have to say though, this new understanding of themes and timelines as a possible link to insights into the existence of parallel worlds has had an immediate, wonderful effect of helping me detach from these very involved, personal, and often intense dreams and observe them much more objectively. I like that. It's not bound up in emotion. And as I said, reconciliation happens in mysterious ways, but it does happen. And in way deep aspects as we reconcile with our own very nature of existence. There is a lot written about the subject. That's the subject of parallel worlds and timelines, and the potential for infinite words, a literal multiverse of endless potential. Quite remarkable from our sorry, I'm a little tired. It's been a tough day. Quite remarkable from our little earthly standpoint and our seeming three-dimensional reality. Our mental understanding is so limited, while our consciousness not only already knows this boundless potential, but is connected to and experiences it continually. Ours is to let that arise within and without us, and let it supersede our clod-bound minds, sense of self, and perception of our surroundings. If we do subscribe to that parallel universe and timeline understanding, or even that conscious reparations are going on, then it is no wonder dreams may seem disjointed and nonsensical. Perhaps several lives are peeking through and overlapping on occasion. I do know that sometimes for me, it appears to be another really construct that is not the continuation of this one, and that it appears more so as the vibrational times keep changing. And that understanding resonates with me. But again, that may change. Some people have amazing gifts regarding seeing and understanding this phenomenon. Physicists flatly say there are at least 11 dimensions right now floating around us without time being a factor. Others say there are at least 100 dimensions. Knowing the pace of our modern science versus consciousness, I think they'll get to that infinite potential number pretty quick when they finally realize multiverse cannot be put into their test tube bottles and labeled and filed away. For example, the mind will never grasp it. Never. It's beyond mind, little men. Let it go. Anyway, you perceive it. This is definitely something to keep researching and following, looking for those hints and nudges to find out more about how we can continue to tap into this infinite potential. Besides recurring themes, there's only been one dream in my life that I kept having over and over. I've written about this before, but it happened between the ages of 5 and 7. It's still as vivid to me now as it was then, over 6 decades ago. And I consider it quite significant for me. Again, there are parallel worlds, and collectively, our planet and its inhabitants are making decisions daily as to its course into the future. I don't know what's set or what for anybody, and you can only find relief, temporary relief in safe spots until the eruptions and lava reaches you. I was in this driveway we used to play in as the lava approached. One side of the driveway had a huge hedge, way tall in front of some large trees next to where we'd play games in front of the garage and goof around. As I looked around on this seemingly doomed scenario, suddenly a hole opened up in the hedge. It was about 2 feet wide and around chest height for my little body. I ran over to it and dove in head first. The next thing I knew, this giant vacuum hose somehow immediately sent me flying into space. It was amazing. There I was with my arms outstretched, floating perfectly silently into outer space. Earth was nowhere to be seen. I was out there, just sailing in perfect stillness, marveling at the glorious view and experiences, and I woke up. I had this dream at least 5 or 6 times that I remember, maybe more. Every time the exact dream, no variation. It was disturbing, and yet really, really beautiful and peaceful at the same time. I've always been fascinated by volcanoes and major earth changes. The awesome power of nature just feels right when you appreciate it. It really puts us in many puny places in the grand theme of things. Was I accessing the escape hatch? The Stargate Express, the ultimate freedom? Who knows? Who knows, really? Maybe something like that will open up to us. Maybe it symbolizes the death experience, and our consciousness just goes back to where it came from. The fascination for wormholes and stargates certainly attests to that archetype having a strong influence on us. The existence of such portals has been portrayed for millennia. And back then, at 5 or 6 years old, there were no wormholes or Stargate teachings going on in the 50s, at least that I ever heard about at that young age. We did have Flash Gordon and the cardboard spaceship and those hokey dinosaur movies, and perhaps they were enough to stimulate our little imaginations, or we were being shown something. Today's high-tech entertainment leaves little for the imagination. They do all the imagination for their target audiences and steer the poor, unsuspecting kids into dark, satanic netherworlds and gratuitous violence and end-of-the-world scenarios. More social engineering at work. But still, they can't fully suppress consciousness. The subjects of dreams, parallel dimensions, and alternate timelines deserve serious attention. There's so much to learn if we can possess the fullness of our conscience and even currently unconscious experience. If our perspective doesn't take everything into consideration, we're operating on partial understanding. That's the beauty of consciousness. It's like having a built-in wormhole to everything if we can learn to access it fully, all possibilities await us. Boy, we're having an ant infestation here. They're all over me. Sorry about that. Just concerned about my immediate surrounding here. More profoundly, these types of dreams remind us that because we are on these different paths, our current environment is essentially of our own making by our power of choice. We are co-creators of this life here via our individual decisions, which implies that what we react to and how we react to are extremely important to the overall milieu we live in. Oh, geez. Man. Answer you. I don't like to see too many ants crawling around. Anyway. Let me ask you some questions. Questions always good, huh? Are the bad guys good for you? Prodding us to learn, to react consciously at some level? Certainly it's allowed at some level. What is the seemingly contest ultimately all about? Is this existence really I? It? I surely don't think so. It's just another dream. A shared one, but still a dream. As I see it, we are co-directing a group lucid dream. One we can interact with, and it's only one of many possible ones. Are we destined to keep repeating these challenges on some level until we got the point? Maybe life is a secular cycle until we get the point. Maybe at that point they'll stop spinning their screw caps and catch the threads of truth and really drill down in the spiral, the greater awakening. In conclusion, if I got to end this right here somehow, you say dreams go on forever. You don't want to get caught too long into a dream, do you? Like being caught on the web. You stay stuck too long, the spider come and get you, right? It's all right. Anyway, the subjects of dreams and parallel dimensions and alternate lifelines deserve serious attention. There's so much to learn if we can process the fullness of our conscience and even currently unconscious experiences. If our perspective doesn't take everything into consideration, we're operating on partial understanding. That's the beauty of consciousness. And as articulated above, these types of dreams remind us that because we are on these different potential paths, our current environment is essentially of our own making by our power of decision of choice. We are co-creators of this life here. I've said that before. I'm saying it again. Now, that is not just extremely liberating, but an awesome responsibility. That's where consciousness kicks in, doesn't it? Ultimately, we just need to fully be who we already are as we continue on in our higher education with a fearless love of truth and the compassion to care about our full physical and metaphysical environment. Think on it. Here's to turning it all on. Warp speed. Anyone? Hey, thank you so much. It's a short one, but it's about a subject that I'm sure we all experience. Dreams, timelines, and parallel worlds. Cosmic Charlie signing out. Peace and love. All right. God bless.